Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Here's your guide to choosing great clients. Now, I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute, where do we find this animal called great clients and people that you absolutely love working with? Well, let me tell you something. As a coach, consultant, or small to medium business, which I suppose you are by listening to this podcast, you want to work with people that you can absolutely get results for. Okay, you don't want to spend your days working isolated by yourself on a computer in a dark room and hiding from everybody else who knocks on your door because it could be a client who has some more work for you, or you're the only one that knows how to, do the job that you're doing, and you find yourself checking your email more than 20 times a day, or maybe feeling constantly tethered to your phone like it's an electronic leash. Let me tell you something. One of the most important things you can do as a coach, consultant, or business owner is to get ruthlessly honest about who you can work best with and for whom you are a best fit. Not everyone is your customer, okay? You see, a lot of us go out there and start working with just about anybody else because, yes, we may have bills to pay. We might have overheads that we need to, fulfill. Now, you're about to discover a brand new way of running a business that's profitable and enjoyable, and you will reimagine, re-engineer, or revamp just about everything you've been told that you have to do. And this type of business doesn't even require you to be on your phone every single day because you are working with great clients, people that you absolutely love. And you know what this means? You just need to know your criteria for what an excellent client fit is. I kid you not, if you're going to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable, you need to viscerally have a way of identifying your target market. And then when you've identified that market, you want to clarify the message that you're going to be sending to them. That way, you will be able to create for and relate to the people that you're going to be talking to. Now, the core of this podcast today is just one big idea: that you deserve a life of freedom while your income continues to grow, and you will be able to create this new life while making a profound difference in the clients' lives in the simplest and easiest way possible. Now, I know this is maybe something that's out of a science fiction film for you. And I know it might sound simple and obvious, yet this is really done in practice. Not a lot of people have freedom. Not a lot of people are growing their income simply because of the choice of clients that they end up working with. Very few people in their, in our society as coaches and consultants are actually making a single dollar online. I know that for a fact because I'm behind a lot of coaches and consultants, and I see the kind of leads that are coming through, the kind of acquisition that they have, and the money that they're actually making. So very few people in our society create money and freedom together. And I must stress this out, together. Money and freedom at the same time, because half of the time as the money goes up, time and freedom goes down. There's hordes and hordes of successful doctors, lawyers who maybe missed their children growing up. Many of them have got really big bank accounts, but failed marriages. I'm not saying either or is better than the other. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not married and you're like, nah, it's not important. Or maybe you're broke and you're like, maybe but I'm just giving you examples based on, what society deems, a way of having accomplished something. And of course, being a broke coach or consultant, or small to medium business, struggling to pay rent, struggling to put food on the table shouldn't be your goal either. You don't want to, you don't want to spend all the time in the world with endless money stress just predicated on the fact that you chose to work with the wrong people. So as your digital marketer, as Live Long Digital, as this podcast, the Online Prosperity Experience, I just want to guide you to that sweet place where you become abundant in time, in money, in happiness, and everything else that you started your business for anyway. I want you to experience that true freedom, the one that money can't buy. You know what I mean? And actually what freedom allows you to do. Because there's always a heavy emphasis about, maybe the quality of the life that you have. But without freedom, none of that is interesting. There's something that no one tells you about this whole business of being a coach or consultant, because creating a highly successful business, a law firm or coaching practice is actually one of the hardest businesses for you in the world to scale. You know why? Because most of it is predicated upon your mindset. And if you're not careful, you can build yourself a high-paying prison. So you need to know exactly how to eliminate all this stress that a lot of coaches and consultants go through. And while it's a great way to get started, maybe with a little capital, it's actually very hard to play in the big leagues if you're not careful, because your time and your energy can actually bring you to a screeching halt, and it can easily become the worst thing you've ever done because you're burnt out and you're overworked. So that's why the Online Prosperity Experience was actually created, to help you have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I tend to want to help you, through the hundreds of episodes that we now have, so you can avoid all the potential pitfalls, that might cost you your time, your energy, and your money. So that's why I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast. That's why I want you to be a part of what we're creating. I've got a question for you. I just have a question for you. Why did you actually decide to work for yourself? Of all the unlimited choices that you had, you could have gone in and worked, at Facebook. You could have gone in and worked at a hospital or whatever it is. Why did you not just get a regular job like anybody else? Why did you take the easy way out? Why didn't you take the easy way out? Why did you put a lot of time and effort learning all these skills, all that NLP, so that you can have your coaching, your training, your information, your expertise? Why? Why did you share all those skills with, other people that maybe are not deserving of your output? Why not just keep the secrets only to yourself? Why don't you just push the next shady, maybe affiliate product that comes your way, or follow whatever whiz-bang shiny object that's on the internet? I'm willing to bet you've got reasons. Damn good reasons. However, I bet the reality of the things, the feels and looks just a bit different from your dream right now, doesn't it? You need to know who you work best with and for whom you are best fit. And what does this mean? You need to know the criteria for an excellent client fit. And that won't be the same for, me or you or any other business owner out there. You might see someone who is out there with their consulting or doing a virtual speaking gig, and you look at the audience and you say, okay, so those must be my ideal clients. And you're far from it. It also means that you have to be willing to often say no, which can be really damn hard. Saying no to clients, even if they are waving, they're fanning themselves with $100 bills, and just say, nope, sorry, I don't want to work with you. And initially, this can seem impossible if you're in a position of maybe, when you're cash flow strapped. You will be defined more by the clients you turn down, by the ones you end up working with. Right now, we're in the middle of offboarding a client that came to us. And clearly, this client was not a perfect fit. If somebody comes to me through a marketing manager, already that raises eyeballs because a marketing manager still has to report to the business owner. So that means I have to work twice as hard. First of all, to fulfill the marketing manager's ego. And then second of all, to make sure that the business owner sees the value, or the return of investment that we are bringing to the table. That's a hard job for anyone to do, unless you're willing to do it. Not me. All right. So if you end up not giving your best to your clients, just because you feel resentful, you feel annoyed every time they send an email to you, or you feel underappreciated or underpaid, you're never going to put your best foot forward. And guess what? They're never going to see the value that you're bringing to the marketplace. And it's a catch-22. We get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. So you want to either remove what is causing this resentment. Maybe you've undercharged these people, or they have taken every line item off of your invoice and decided they were going to pay you whatever they thought was fair. Or maybe they're looking for very quick turnarounds, and maybe they just have bad habits themselves. Like the client I'm talking about right now, the marketing manager brought in the boyfriend who clearly might have some sort of experience when it comes to marketing, but has no actual business knowledge of how things work. So they're putting in their egos and everything else that comes along with it. Ain't nobody got time for that. So you want to be at peace with letting that client go. Vamos. See you later. Sayonara. I don't know if those are the words to tell people to go, but yeah, that's what I got on short notice. And you want to move on with your business. Because you did not get into this business just so that you can build yourself, like I said earlier on, a prison. Why would you do that to yourself? You're here to live, you're here to learn, you're here to contribute, and in the process, have a happier existence. And that means being happy with what you're doing, your vocation, and what takes up much of your time. Because you're not free if you're constantly tethered to your phone with people that don't even understand the value of the work that you bring into the marketplace. So don't take on any new projects where you already feel resentful, or when you go into the meeting, you have to size each other up with the marketing manager. You know why? Because you being there, you're a threat to them. You being there, you're a threat to the HR person. You being there, you're a threat to the lawyer or whoever is in that room. You just want to work with people that absolutely value what you're bringing to the table with no animosity, and you can do the best work for, present. It's not going to be about their budget. It's not going to be about their, aesthetic preferences or anything else of that nature. You just want to plan projects and deliver results, which people will then look at and get you more referrals and more work in the end. Let me tell you something. If you just take on jobs and then you just half-ass the project just because you needed the cash, everyone suffers when you do this, especially you. I don't know if you've ever heard of artists. Let's look at a different sort of, league of work. There's artists like maybe Michelangelo. There's artists that created wonder, out of thin air, so to speak. Okay, so let's say, Michelangelo, because historically, all right, artists have always needed to have somebody who commissions their work. Okay, as a coach right now, you need somebody to commission you and say, hey, I need to get these results. Come, let's work together. So if you look at Michelangelo, he was commissioned by, I think it was Pope Julius II. So you would notice that historically, artists didn't just go about painting stuff on the wall, as willy-nilly. They had to find what's called a patron or somebody who commissioned that artwork, because there was no cameras before. The royals, the people that were, rich, would stand in front of a really good background, and then they'll get their portrait painted. Sometimes, it will be a church. Sometimes it will be the knight, the king, or whatever merchant who would have gone through that town, people that had money. So without, the support of a commission work or what they call a patron, us artists wouldn't have the resources to do their great work, because we all got to eat. We all got to put food on the table. So if you don't have clients that ask you to bring out the best work out there and let you be to showcase your expertise, then you're probably not going to have the freedom that you actually started this business for in the first place. So those people that commission these artworks or those patrons, they usually give maybe clear instructions regarding the topic of the art. For example, when they were painting the Sistine Chapel, that wasn't Michelangelo's idea. The work was commissioned by Pope Julius II. And in fact, you know what Michelangelo did? He was actually reluctant to take on that project. We wouldn't have had that amazing picture that he then painted in the Sistine Chapel. He would rather have been sculpting, because that's what he was good at. But you know how it goes. What the client wants, the client gets. And particularly when, we're talking about the Pope here, Pope Julius II. He must have been feared in that time that he was living in that time. He was usually referred to as Papa Terrible, because he was a terrible Pope. And the thing being, the artist's life was not so very different to you as a coach today, you as a consultant today, or you as a small to medium business. Michelangelo needed a patron or somebody to commission his artwork. And those patrons often have very specific ideas about what the artist has to do. Don't your clients have specific ideas about what it is that they expect from you? And you as a coach or consultant, you're going to need clients. And those clients will have to have specific ideas about what, you want, what they want or expect of their coach or of their consultant. And let me tell you something. If you're lucky like what Michelangelo had, to have the Pope as his commissioner, that meant he had to do great work. There was no problems with budgets. There was no problems with space or whatever artistic, liberties that he had. True, he had to do a lot of painting before he could actually get back to his sculpture. But guess what? He was doing work that matters, work that he loved. But having the Pope as the person who commissioned this artwork or as his patron, it actually allowed Michelangelo to create the most remarkable piece of art in a place where thousands of people would see it. Now, can you imagine if you're given that artistic liberty to create a website, that artistic liberty to create the greatest leader, if you're a coach or an executive, coach, or that artistic, liberty or artistic license to, create the biggest deal known to man if you're a lawyer, So had he accepted a commission from maybe a local shopkeeper to just maybe put some graffiti on the wall, that wouldn't be as big as what he ended up doing at the Sistine Chapel. Maybe the shopkeeper would have just wanted maybe a portrait of his daughter. That job would have brought him a lot less value. You know why? Because that's a private job. He wouldn't have had the same cachet that comes with having the Pope as his commissioner or as his patron. Nor would many people have seen that, the portraits that he created. So at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. Who are you asking to commission you to do great work? As a coach, consultant, or small to medium business, it makes sense to start thinking like Michelangelo. You don't want to seek any old client. You want to pursue the very best clients. You want clients that will make really big demands and then drive you to do your very best work, your own Sistine Chapel. You want clients with big budgets, so you have the resources to do your very best work. I'll speak about doing your very best work in one of the episodes. They just look at our previous episodes on the Online Prosperity Experience. You want clients that can get you your work in front of a lot of people. So that those people will then admire your skills, and then you create word of mouth or word of mouse. How do you go about choosing your own clients? Do you just accept any company or any job that comes your way that is just prepared to offer you money? Or do you just take any work from those shopkeepers that are just going to commission you for a private job or things of that nature? Or do you want to go out and seek the best possible clients and give yourself an opportunity to actually create some of your best work? Which one would you rather be? I mean, whatever skills you have as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business, it is an art and it is a gift that you need to be giving, the people that are worthy of that gift. In part, you're an artist. Whether you write, you design codes, you're a designer, or you do consulting, you do training, you offer information, whatever expertise you're putting out there, you're an artist. So if you're not doing so already, I recommend that you start stretching yourself and maybe scare yourself a little bit by seeking out your own ipapa telebre. I'm not saying go seek out wrong clients, but you want to seek out the biggest person who can possibly pay you for the services that you're offering. Look for clients who share the scope and scale of your own vision. That's the only way you can find how good you possibly can be. You know? Because if you're not working with clients that you absolutely love, you're going to be resenting the work. And when you resent the work, it shows. So how do you decide then, who to work with? I have my own criteria based on the years of experience in observation and maybe the personal development that I now have and a lot of self-awareness. You know what I look at? Let's look at the business itself, the business idea, the business model, the vision of the entrepreneur who comes to me. Is it an interesting, or is it unique? Is it revolutionary enough? Is it marketable? Because you can't come to me and say you are a fitness coach and I cannot even see a bicep on you. Do you know what I mean? So, and then I ask myself, does it provide an interesting challenge to me professionally? Right now, I'm working with a new client that works with scalp pigmentation. Something that I had never come across. So that's going to be a new challenge. And if I step into that zone, you know what? I'm going to write about it, document the whole process, and I will own that industry because I know a lot of other digital marketers are too lazy to learn something new. And one other thing that I look at is, does it provide something good for the world? What difference am I making being a part of this? Am I just contributing to the noise? Or am I actually making other people's lives better? Because if you're not making somebody else's life better, you're just wasting your time, bro. Did you get that? Like, did you get the passion in that one? Because this is my personal development and my self-awareness. And we're talking raw right now. This is Prosper you're listening to. And when I look at the business idea or the vision, is there a potential or is there wiggle room to actually grow this business? Because we're not just going to go into something that's just spraying and praying. We want something that makes a huge difference. I did not set out to create a prison for myself. And then we look at the client. We want to look at them. Okay, do they match the passion for their idea as the passion I'm going to bring into, the project? Are they open to collaboration, or are they stuck in their ways? Because there's a lot of people that think they know stuff, but they know jack all. And then how do they actually find me? Because all the work that I'm doing is all organic. Do they appreciate the organic nature of my process? Or do they just want somebody who is a whack-a-mole, who just shows up and never, pays attention to the exact way that they want to run their business? And when I show up to them, do they actually value the contribution that I bring to the table as an expert? Or are they just looking for a pixel pusher? That's what I call people that are just taking orders from their clients, just pushing pixels throughout the internet, making noise. We create for and relate to our audiences. All right. And then I then look out and say, are they actually flexible? Are they curious? Do they work on themselves? Are they committed? Because there's the difference between being committed and just being there. There's a story about commitment that I heard from M.E.D.I.A from Your World Within, and I would have thought he got it from somewhere else. It's like a boy asked his dad about what commitment meant, okay? And he was having breakfast, and then the dad said to the little boy, look at your breakfast, all right? The chicken made a commitment to your breakfast but the pig made a commitment. All right? The chicken made a contribution. The chicken made a contribution to your breakfast, but the pig made a commitment. Are they committed to their investment? Are they committed to their business? Are they committed to the results that are going to come out of all the work that we're going to be doing? And then last but not least, do they actually have the budget for the work that is involved? And are they being realistic about the desire that they have versus the cost it will take to bring that desire to life? Then I start looking at myself. Would I then be able to get them a return on that investment? And last but not least, do I really enjoy them as a person? I love drinking whiskey. Are they the kind of person that I could invite to my house and have a whiskey with them and we can sit around and just talk about stuff? And there's an energy involved in working with your clients. You want to ask yourself, do I really have the time available to do an excellent job on this project? Do I have the mental space, the fortitude, the energy to take on a project of this magnitude? Does it actually, you can ask yourself, does taking this project feel expansive or is it constricting me? Yes, I always check with my gut because, is what I'm about to do making me happier? Because over the years, I've learned that a few things, actually impressed me and I've learned a few things about the way that I work. And it now informs who I choose to work with because I want to give the right, results for the right people. And then you now start looking at yourself because there's no way you can actually go to your target market without a self-reflection. You want to look and say, who am I a strong fit for? Do I like working with people that, have rigid or tight deadlines? Like I was, talking about the client who works through a marketing manager. I can't work with people like that. And especially traditional corporate clients that have a hierarchy and a lot of red tape in order for anything to get approved. Ugh. Or people that just want short one-off projects. That too does not sit well with me because I want to work with people and see through their processes, and you see through the online prosperity blueprint in full effect. And it takes between 6 to 12 months for any sort of result to start showing up. So if people are just coming off with a one-off project, sorry, I can't. And if people come to me with some sort of formal communication and they expect me to jump through hoops, you go jump them yourself. And people who are looking for the cheapest option, I don't know. I cannot be commissioned to work with people like that. You see how different it is and how I physically know when and when not to engage with anyone. Because you're doing a disservice to yourself and others by taking on projects that you're not a great fit for, or your working style, or your lifestyle. Because the wonderful thing is there's so many people who will be such a great fit for the work that you're doing and also for those clients. So you might as well just leave them in the marketplace. Somebody will pick them up. I'm able to refer clients to other business owners, to other digital marketers. You know why? Because they're not a great fit. And I know maybe they'll be able to work perfectly with the person that, does that. And they do the same with me, vice versa. Win, 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 win. Like so many wins in that. Let me tell you something, man. Even the process of saying no or sending a client to another designer or another coach or another consultant could be the best part of your service because you are literally taking away, pain, heartache, and crisis of anticipation to somebody who can do it cheaper, better, faster. Just knowing when to say no to a client and yes is something, that is an art form. That's why I was talking about art at the start there. And just saying yes to people just because you want the money is doing yourself a disservice. Because let me tell you something, man. Everything in your business will change when you commit to letting go of clients, of projects, of things that actually cause you to feel resentful. You have a lot more control over your business than you actually think you do. And it all starts with the clients that you work with. Because obviously without clients or customers, you probably don't have a business. And why would you be, holding yourself hostage to your own creation just simply because of $1? So what kind of clients do you want to have? What kind of clients do you want to wake up and work with? Because what matters to you and your business is different. You know, how do you want to feel during and after, your projects when you're painting the Sistine Channel, the chapel? Do you want to actually feel like you're doing the best work you have ever done yet? And how do you want others to feel when they're working with you? Because there's no point in holding clients hostage just because of a contract. If people don't feel like a perfect fit, let them go. Get clear on who aligns best with you and what you've got to offer. And guess what? You should actually start saying no to anything less, because if somebody doesn't tick a few of your boxes, that person is not going to change just because they're now paying you. Never. That's never going to happen. You owe it to you and your business. And this is actually moving into the biggest, freedom and time that I was talking about earlier on. Make space for only great clients within your business. Do you actually know who is a perfect fit for you? So if you're wondering how to actually do this and you want to take advantage of, aligning yourself with the best work out there possible, come on, let's have a chat. Book a consultation with me. And guess what we'll do? We'll work hands-on. Yeah? I'll hold your hand. All right? And we'll develop a strategic plan and then deep dive and work through your ideal client clarity. Because that's important. Once you're clear on who you want to work with, we can then put out the strategic messaging. We can then put out the consulting offers, the coaching offers, and really align the fees to, dictate who we want to be working with and where they are. So your fees and pricing will also look at that. And then one other thing that we'll do is really optimize your business model, because maybe your business model right now is just, created to take on any person who's got a credit card. No, we want to change that. We want the best people. We want Pope Francis and above type people. And I'm not saying this in a religious connotation. I'm just saying the caliber of the people we want to be bringing in. And once we've gotten that straight, I'll just help you set up your marketing engine and lead generation system so you consistently attract those ideal clients. If you're not doing this already, I recommend you pick the phone, call me, or schedule a call with me in a calendar, and just stretch yourself, because you are about to experience a brand new kind of business, all right? Something that you've never experienced before, with the big idea of having freedom and money all at the same time, in the same sentence. There's no point of you building this business just so that it's a high-paying prison. Free yourself. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au